Hello, I'm Stephanie. This is Intelligent Luxury. This is Stephanie, and this is Intelligent Luxury. So, quickly, we have a short show. Remember, fashion style is all about Bloomingdale's, Hurley.com, the Jordan brand, and the Paris Saint Germain's, Nadia Nadim, Grace Jurio, Jordan Huitma, and Marie Antoinette Catsuto. They all model for the Jordan brand. And then you have I'm going to show you a picture of the Jordan Brand's Paris Saint Germain's latest collection. Also, you have the new Nike Air Zoom Alpha Fly Next Percent Mango shoe that I have online, and it's on the website's blog. My website is intelligentluxurymagazine.com. I'm a lifetime member of the NAACP. Remember that the New York State Conference convention is tomorrow and Saturday, so you can pay to attend online. It's virtual. And remember that we're praying for President Trump. He has no public event scheduled today. Vice President Pence, he was in a debate last night, and he against Senator Harris, and they discussed climate change, raising taxes, and the virus. Vice President Pence stated that we have 5 companies in phase 3 vaccine trials, and Senator Harris thinks that Biden will be a good president, and he will not raise taxes on anyone making under $400,000 a year. That's really what they discussed about in the debate. A lot of other things that they discussed were reducing crime and other points that I might disagree with. I definitely disagree with legalization of a specific of mostly all dangerous narcotics, and maybe even the illegalization of certain addictive prescription narcotics. So that's what they discussed. And remember about indoor dining started this month in NYC, so you can go there even though if it's. Then you have Mayor de Blasio. He said, I'm declaring Tuesday, December 22nd, 2020, at the date as the date for the 12th City Council District special election to elect a council member to serve until December 31st, 2021. This date within the window allowed by the city charter will facilitate maximum voter participation. I encourage all eligible Bronx residents to vote early, in person, or by absentee ballot in the upcoming special election and get the representation they deserve. Virginia's rent and mortgage relief program is supported by Virginia Governor Northam. We created this program, he said, because people need to stay in their homes, especially when they are dealing with job income losses because of this public health crisis and through no fault of their own, said Governor Northam. We have seen high demand for financial assistance provided through this program, which provides how much it needs to continue. A global pandemic is the worst time for Virginia families to face losing their homes, and we know that safe and stable housing is critical to helping people stay healthy as we continue to combat this virus. So, Mayor Baraka, the city delivered a State of the City address last night. Watch it on the City of New York's Facebook page. Also, today, I watched the webinar hosted by Morehouse College at the Clinton Global Initiative University, or CGIU, and the Clinton Foundation's is the Clinton Foundation Higher Education Program hosted a webinar today titled Entrepreneurship and Equity. So, entrepreneurship and equity. So, the opening remarks were made by Morehouse College President Dr. David Thomas. And he introduced the former President Clinton, who is the founder and board and chair of the Clinton Foundation. Former President Clinton moderated the panel discussion titled Started Up Entrepreneurship for Impact and Building an Inclusive Economy in an Uncertain World with panelists LaJune Montgomery Tabron, President and CEO of W.K. Kellogg Foundation, Aurora James, creative director and founder of Brother Veliz, and founder of 15% Pledge, Rose Stuckey Kirk, senior vice president and chief corporate social responsibility officer, Verizon, Grant Burnett, people analytics research analyst at Google. Thank everyone at Google because using Google Blogger to uh, using Google Blogger, using web WordPress, using Google Analytics is great for a person who has their own small business like myself. Miss Chelsea Clinton, vice chair of the Clinton Foundation, hosted a panel about health and racial inequalities with panelists Dr. David Satcher, founder and senior advisor, Satcher Health Leadership Institute at the Morehouse School of Medicine, and LaShira Nolan, student council president of 23. Should be graduating in 2023. Harvard Medical School. I always laugh. Like, graduated 23. I graduated like over 10 years ago. So I just know how excited I was when I was in college before I graduated and writing, when I was going to graduate, anticipated graduation date or graduation date, when I will graduate. Oh, that was so exciting. And she's there at Harvard Medical School. The panel titled Conversation on Youth Leadership and Innovation at Morehouse was moderated by Mr. Jamal Simmons, CBS News political contributor and host, with panelists Tiffany Rogers Busey, founding director, Morehouse Innovation and Entrepreneurship Center, and Jaden Alexander Cody, undergraduate student, Morehouse College. So I know someone that attended Morehouse. He's a teacher, and I know that it's such a great school for African American men. And also, listening, I think Mr. Steve Harvey, who I also interviewed in the past, who helped me. I always want to. I talk about the same people repeatedly, constantly, and forever because when I first started my company, I think that I was able to promote my company. I was able to promote my company and interview Mr. Steve Harvey, who has one of the number one morning show in on the nation. Besides, I guess, on New York City's Light FM, so maybe like the second. And he let me interview him, and that helps with my search engine optimization, whoever I interviewed. So I just repeatedly thank the people that I've interviewed in the past, and I know that he attended Morehouse College and is a Omega Psi Phi. I just remarked, actually, that let me get back to the Omega Psi Phi after I tell you one of my favorite statements from President Clinton. And President Clinton was the moderator for one of the panelists, and he said, My favorite idea is that should be doing that non-for-profit should be doing more for providing capital and information to entrepreneurs, and I totally agree. I totally agree. So he also said we won't have any a truly inclusive democracy. We won't have a truly inclusive democracy until we have an inclusive economy, and I think that is a great quote. You have to have an inclusive economy, or else you cannot vote. You cannot go to voting polls if you can't pay for yourself to someplace to live. If you can't have money to get dressed, if you don't have money to drive to the polling place, how can you be included in this democracy? So I think that's a great statement. And I remember the Clinton years, great years, while I was in college. So, Art Basel, I'm still doing well. So What about those that are talking to, anyway, Art Basel announced the new online viewing rooms in September and October. Please visit Art Basel. I think it's so cool how art has a way for people to be happy. And it's a great show. So I've heard. I've never been to the show, but now with the online viewing rooms, you're able to see more of the art online with people talking about the art, and I think that's great. And remember, it's up to us to start. Right now, my initiative is to create more nonfiction and fiction authors who are African American. And Amazon, Google, these are all ways that you can. What I said, Amazon and Simon and Schuster have ways for you to e-publish and to publish online. Amazon, I believe, it may be free with Amazon for you to e-publish your book and sell it online, and they take a percentage of the profit. So, kind of not totally free, but at least free initially. And I think it's so important. When I used to shelve books at the library, and we're reading all these authors who are African American that we've read and reread. I'm like, we need more African American books. And the librarian says, well, how can we have more African American authors if people aren't starting to write their own books right today? As I'll say in my own language, right today, right today, right today. So again, it we can't find any more authors that publish any more books from pre-slavery to post-slavery who are African American. They're all passed away. The only people that can write more African American author nonfiction and fiction books are now. So when you go to a library or bookstore and you say, where are these African American authors? You have to say, you are. So I'm writing my book now. It's going to take me a long time, but those of you who are better writers than I pray that you're able to write your nonfiction and fiction books. People who have money, you don't have to type or even write. If you want to write a book, you can dictate a book to someone, and maybe they can write it after you have a lawyer look at it, make sure they're not legally plagiarizing anything that you read in the past. It's so important. You can write a book about books. You can write a book about not writing a book. So I think that's one of the initiatives that I really want to push. So you have Marriott announced Escape to Luxury with Marriott Bonvoy launching at the Ritz-Carlton, the St. Regis Hotels and Resorts, and Edition properties. Escape to Luxury with Marriott Bonvoy will be an ongoing offer available for a limited time each month to both Marriott Bonvoy members and non-members as a way to enhance their trips and vacations. To learn more, please visit luxuryhotels.com. For more information about Marriott's concierge services, please visit quintessentially.com. Marriott Experiences and Marriott International is opening 8 new Fairfield by Marriott properties in the nation of Japan. So thank you, Marriott, for this information. I love analyzing the content and staying at luxury hotels. I know, like myself, there are a lot of people who are able to stay at luxury hotels if you work for a company that pays for you to stay at a hotel. And I was able to do that, and it's so much fun. So if you're able to stay at a luxury hotel maybe once a year, once every other year, or more, it's a great experience. So, and always use the concierge. They tell you where to go for dinner, where to go for lunch, where to go for breakfast. They tell you about entertainment, shows. So the concierges are usually free. It's good to tip, but it's okay, I guess, if you can't afford a tip and you want to support the show, still go see the concierge. The Bronx author, maybe send a thank you card if you can't tip. It's always good to recommend maybe a thank you card to the boss. Write a note to the boss for the concierge if you don't have the tipping money. The Bronx. Let's talk about New York City staycations. Remember that the Bronx, Arthur Avenue, great place to go to shop, to have Italian cuisine. Hudson Yards, great place to shop. I heard. And then you have Empire State Building, you have the Herald Square, you have Central Park, Rockefeller Center. I love Central Park. Central Park is a place that you can go and you can go read a book. You can play softball if you have a permit. And they also have a lake at Central Park. I think they closed the boating house, which is sad. And they have different types of cuisine there. Hello to all the Pakistanis that I meet buying ice cream at the legal vendors, at Central Park. And then you have plan to visit Wales, and more specifically in Pembrokeshire. It has coastal walks and castles. Please visit the website visitwales.com or visitbritain.com for more information about traveling to Great Britain. I don't know if you can travel to Great Britain right now, but when you are able to, make sure that you're able to go there. Travel. It's not as expensive as you would. It's not very expensive to travel overseas. It might cost a few $100s to travel overseas and stay in a hotel per day. A lot of people go for a weekend to Europe, maybe even it's a more time is needed if you want to travel past Europe. Remember the book Love Your Life, a novel by Sophie Kinsella. She is so funny as an author. You literally just laugh reading her books. If you read the book, one of my favorite books, Shopaholic. I think it's so funny. You have to know. I don't want to say she's a reporter and she's a shopaholic. And if you know what type of reporter that she is, it is so funny. And she just writes about shopping and she doesn't write about shopping, excuse me, I don't want to give her away. But the characters in her books are so funny and funny things happen to them, and it's just so much fun to read. If you read Sophie, I call her Sophia sometimes, Sophie Kinsella. Her new book is out this month, so and she has a pen name too. So once you read all the Sophie Kinsella books, ask the librarian for the pen name, and then she writes another series of books, and I'm waiting to read them because they're so funny. I don't want to read them all, and then what will I have to read? um, and I can't wait to read this book, The Rise, Black Cooks and the Soul of American Food, written by Marcus Samuelson, Osaya Dolan, and Yewande Komolafe. The book honors Black cooking. And then I have other books like Missionaries, written by Phyllis Clay, a collection of short stories of Potts in the Nation of Columbia. I always repeat, always say that there's a store in downtown Manhattan that organizes fiction books by the book's plot's nation. So, for example, if the plot is in Columbia, it's in the Colombian section, and I just thought that was the greatest way to organize a book, because sometimes you want to read by nation. That's kind of where I was able to establish that chart that I was telling you guys to make. And I've never made charts as I was reading. And so I was at Temple University and I was reading the book Love by Toni Morrison. And I say I was reading, excuse my language skills. I had a grandfather who didn't go to college, and he talked in a southern accent, and a step grandfather, excuse me. And the way that he talked is so different. It's such a debate. I wondered if he even created Ebonics. So sometimes I speak in a different way, and I apologize. But however, what was I saying? Oh, so however, the book Love by Toni Morrison is a really good book. But for some reason, I was reading it and I'm taking classes, and I was like, for some reason, I cannot follow this book. I'm getting older or something. And the lady said, just make a chart. And I was like, why? I've never made a chart for a book that I've read outside of of a class. So then that's combining those two things, making a chart about Anna Karenina is a Russian, its plot is set in Russia. And then I still have to compare the history. I want to buy a book. I want to buy like a history book, and a book kind of like a not an atlas, a not a thesaurus. I'm losing my mind. I need a new I don't know. I want to say not an atlas. An atlas is the maps, but a new. This is so funny. I can't remember, but I have one, and it's not an atlas. So it's not an atlas or an anthology. So we'll get through that. And then I just want to buy a good history book because I have an older one, but I want one that's more current because the one that I have stops like in the 1980s, but still it doesn't really just go into description of certain like European countries and in the 1800s. Just needs to be a little bit more descriptive. Anybody can recommend a good history book. I don't have that many viewers to say that, huh? Temple University's website is temple.edu. So I'm still reading War and Peace very slowly, very slowly. It's a good book, yeah. It has a different pace, and so now this guy's a Mason. After all this war is going on in Russia, and they just go out to war and start shooting one another, and they die. And I guess that's why it's called War and Peace. Comparing it to Anna Karenina, I didn't write all this in my script. Uh, Let me think about Parent to Anna Karenina. I think I liked Anna Karenina better until the end. I did not like the ending of Anna Karenina. I mean, who would like the ending if if we read it? But I like I like how both books talk about what they wore very well. He's very good. Tolstoy is very good about describing the characters' plots and their what they're wearing and what they're thinking, and the dialogue is good. And except the war dialogue. I guess it's like kind of for men. I feel like War and Peace is a book for men if you're into men, masculine men, feminine women type of thing. And I think that Anna Karenina is more written for a woman, where she's talking, but there's war and peace in Anna Karenina if you read it too a little bit. And I just thought it was a different type of book, just a little less war in Anna Karenina, but both great about describing about the life and the society and what they were doing. They partied. They were always at a party in both books. If they're not at war, they're at a party. So that's why I think these books are classics because they're really good. It just takes a long time to read the books. So we're gonna read chapter 4. When we're finished chapter 4, we'll do that. So we have Boston Book Festival this week. Remember, support your local hospitals. I'll leave that on here. So this is my new format of an article. Some parts of the article are different. As you read a magazine, you see sometimes we have charts, pictures. So these are just my favorite. Since I do all this reading anyway, I thought that I would share what I would read. Like the Festival of Licensing, the Food Network and Cooking Channel, New York City Wine and Food Festival is going on until the 11th. The Festival of Licensing is going on until the 29th of October. And then this place, the National Association for the Multi-Ethnicity Communications 34th Annual Conference, I've actually attended this conference in person. It was a great conference. And I met a lot of people. I met a woman from I let a lot of people from different companies in the cable industry, from Fox News to ABC, NBC, different magazines, different newspapers. A lot of African Americans and ethnic minorities are at this conference, and it really helped me network. It was a really good conference. And they do have a job fair there. Yeah, I already have jobs when I went to the conference, so I didn't use the job fair portion. I don't think, or if I did, it's just for networking. It's good to visit job fairs for networking. It's good to keep networking and meeting people, meeting the human resources people, just in case your company closes. So that does happen. So no, let's talk about there's events at the New York Public Library. You can watch the YouTube channel and the National Restaurant Association show, which I believe is a show just to learn more about the restaurant industry, just to network. And I think a lot of restaurant owners they really want to like right now. How do you delivery packages is something that I think a lot of restaurant owners want more information about. Um, using metal. I guess if you use metal, then I guess they don't want you to microwave their heating. But more instructions for people who are heating for heating up your food at home is needed. I think it's my opinion. But all of mine, all the restaurants that I've eaten at all my life, and they have pretty good takeout packages. I think that's great. I think Whole Foods does a really good job with their takeout package. They have laminated cardboard or like paper, and I found it to be pretty good too. And then we have Tupperware from the Chinese food place that we can reuse, so that's always good. Listen to my fellow Temple University graduates. I'm gonna put a link to that there. You have Tuskegee. I'm gonna take Tuskegee off and the station. I'm taking that off, and not the Studio Museum of Harlem. Become a member of the Studio Museum of Harlem. And remember, sometimes they have free days, but I have paid to get in too. But it's just a great place to go. The Studio Museum of Harlem is in Harlem. And then you have Michael Jordan Steakhouses around the states of Illinois, Connecticut, and Washington. Michael Jordan owns a golf course named Grove 23. Membership is by invitation only. Michael Jordan promotes the Jordan brand on Nike.com or Jordan.com. Michael Jordan has a Nissan dealership near Duke University. So of all the people in the world, Michael Jordan helped me. So I just gonna try to promote him. Like he needs my promotion, right? He also sponsors the Novant House Michael Jordan Family Clinic. So that's important if you're living near Charlotte, North Carolina. And please visit the Jordan Institute for Families.org. Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin on a NASCAR team, starting driver Bubba Wallace. And remember, um, I learned about African Americans owning driving through Black Enterprise magazines. So I started learning more about NASCAR. And then there was an African American woman, I don't remember her name, that she owned her own race car or her own team too. So I think Michael Jordan is one of the first, or is he the first? So she must have driven a race car. So I'm Stephanie. My website is intelligentlegendarymagazine.com. Please shop at the Whole Foods Market. But at least he's the first. Is he the first? No, he's the first. And then, to own a major NASCAR. The other, she might not have owned a car with NASCAR, I think. But it's such an interesting sport after someone explained to me the sport. And then please visit Whole Foods Market, WholeFoods.com, USBank.com, LouisVuitton.com, TheSims.com. Reserve that luxury hotel room today. Watch the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. I watched it with Jerry Seinfeld. I like that was a good show. I like Stephen Colbert's hair. Please read about my program on intelligentluxury.com. My hair looks shorter today. I kind of wear it short, but I could. If I don't braid it after I wash it, it won't look longer. So I have to braid it after I wash it, and I have to unbraid it, and that takes a lot of time. So watch PBS, watch American History TV, read the New York Times, Wall Street Journal. Remember your pre-read, your Simon read, your Simon Property Group read, and your Pyramid Management Group read. Thank everyone for your help. Miami Book Fair, Goya. I'm gonna refilm my food recipes. I have fried chicken, fried whiting, and chili. I'm gonna try to write a cookbook. I think that's the best book that I can write because I think I'm an alright cook. And that's all I have energy to give for you today. So, great, 30 minutes. This is great. This is great. So, thank you for watching. Here, I have to smile until it goes off.